Hello and welcome to Denver, Colorado. I am at Elitch Gardens. Elitch Gardens isn't just like near the city, it is in the heart of downtown Denver. So it's a very unique area to be in, and then suddenly you're just in an amusement park. But I'm excited to check this park out. It has a sort of a reputation of maybe being not one of the greatest amusement parks in America, but I'm withholding my judgment till we have some time to look around. I'm also joined by my buddy Darian.
What's up, y'all? This is DT in the building. How y'all feeling?
We're
This YouTube?
You a YouTuber?
You a YouTuber?
Briefly, some other stuff about Elitch Gardens. This park actually didn't used to exist here. It was, I believe, quite a bit northwest of Denver proper. It wasn't until 1990, I want to say, that they moved to this location here, kind of in the middle of downtown. The park has gone through quite a handful of operators. It did exist as a premier park and then a Six Flags park by extension. That era is where a handful of the rides we're going to check out today, like the SLC, the Boomerang, those rides came during that Six Flags era. So it's had an interesting history, and it kind of seems like its future is interesting as well, because I've heard rumors all over the place that Elitch might be looking at moving again. I don't know what the root of that would be. I'm not gonna pretend I know everything. I would assume it would have to do with just the expense of being in downtown Denver. So I know there's been at least rumors about relocating this park once again. So I figured now's as good of a time as any to check out this park in its current state, in its current location. Again, I've heard mixed things, but I will reserve judgment until I have a chance to look around. Already, I can tell you this little entry plaza, that's kind of nice. It reminds me a lot of Adventureland in Des Moines, Iowa. The same kind of like old school, it's almost going for like a Main Street USA sort of feel. I don't know, seems like there's a bit of charm off the rip. So let's check out Elitch Gardens. To make a Vekoma SLC that runs well is a beautiful and unique thing. Mind Eraser is not that. It is far from a beautiful thing. This ride might give my previous least favorite coaster, which was Flight Deck at Canada's Wonderland, a run for its money. Because this, I don't know, maybe I'm being too harsh on it. It is shaky the entire time. I did have a bit of head bashing even when trying to press my head to the side or forward. It didn't seem to help a ton. But I will give it to these rides. They are intense. SLCs are intense. I mean, frankly, the rough ones are even more intense, but not in a good way. What I will give the ride is that I've been on SLCs that have really bad like moments, like potholes, things like that. This ride doesn't have a notable bad moment because it's all a bad moment. But yeah, if this wasn't one of the 3 major operating roller coasters here today, you probably wouldn't catch me on it. It's just, it feels like a necessity, so I did. Okay, just rode Meow Wolf Kaleidoscape. That was actually a bit of a surprise to me. I think when this opened, it opened as just a regular ghost, like shooting dark ride. And for some reason, they decided to work with Meow Wolf. I don't know a lot about Meow Wolf. So now the ride is just like this journey through this trippy, psychedelic, spacey, robot-y, optical illusion. There is so much going on. It's so overwhelming. If there's a cohesive storyline going on in this ride, I never learned it. I never realized it. I went on it twice. I don't know what the narrative behind it is. Maybe the beauty of Kaleidoscape is that there is no narrative and you're just supposed to feel it inside.
You're supposed to feel it. You know, it's supposed to be in the moment. You know?
But there were some really cool visuals, and I think I just like how different this is. Like a lot of the shooting dark rides I've done personally, it's always around ghosts or haunted things, or like there's this box that you expect that sort of ride to be in, and Meow Wolf is not. It was super, super weird, and I like that.
Oh yeah, I also like the robot in the beginning. I think it brought a little bit of flavor before you even got onto the ride.
Big animatronics guy. Big animatronics guy.
Yeah, shout out AI.
Sidewinder was amazing. I actually really loved this roller coaster. So something special about it, this is one of only 3 of these Aero shuttle coasters. I don't know if they're called a shuttle loop, what they're called. There's only 3 left in the whole world. And I honestly didn't even know if I'd ever get on one in time, because you never know with roller coasters like this, but I'm so glad I did. Sidewinder opened up in 1980. It was actually constructed at Magic Springs in Arkansas, and I operated there until in 1990. They moved that ride to Elitch Gardens. Now that was actually the old location, so the ride did come along when Elitch moved to this new central Denver location. But it's a really fun experience. I don't know if I've ever been on a ride like this where it starts by you climbing to the very top of the ride, and everything that happens after like just goes down and then back up. That's interesting. But 2 rides there, both in the second to back row. These Aero looper trains, they don't give you a whole lot of leg room in the back row of a car, so I always favor the front row of a car. But the loop is solid, as you would imagine. Very, very intense, a lot of positive G's going on there. But what I love about this thing is the airtime. And Aero loopers, you know, the traditional ones with chain lifts and loops and corkscrews, you don't think of airtime when you think of that Aero. But with this ride model, they went out of their way to give it a few amazing airtime moments. So being in the back of the train meant that we were absolutely whipped over that first drop before the loop. Spectacular airtime. Then you do the loop, a lot of good positives, and then you go back into this holding area before it launches you backwards. And I kind of thought that, you know, the second drop going backwards would only really be good in the front, because the front would then get the whip over. But there's enough of a pause after the launch before the drop that the whole train is kind of up to speed by the time you actually hit the drop. So we got airtime in the back as well. And the biggest surprise airtime moment for me was that last climb back into the station in the back, because it's basically now the front of the train. You just get pushed into the station and do get some airtime there as well. Spectacular. I love this thing. 2 rides in, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple more. Really great ride.
Yeah, I just test voted. I test voted for y'all.
Tower of Doom is so good. I like most drop towers, but these Intamin giant drops are so intense. And I can't be mad about it because it helps the capacity of the ride, but I kind of wish it didn't rise quite so fast because the views that you get while you're going up the ride of Denver, of the mountains, of the park, they are spectacular. But then before you know it, the ride just drops. And that stomach feeling, that drop, is superb. I love these things. Now, I would ask DT his thoughts on the ride, but he actually lined back up. He's going for his second ride, so that should tell you everything you need to know. But yeah, Tower of Doom, really solid. Definitely one of my favorites here. Okay, Boomerang is a Vekoma Boomerang. Pretty standard affairs here. I think I've done 3 Boomerangs at this point, and as far as ones that utilize the older trains, no vest restraints, you're just dealing with the big, bulky over-the-shoulder restraints. Those can be painful if the ride doesn't operate that smoothly, but this one does. This is actually a really solid Boomerang. I do think it's a little interesting that this is one of the rides here alongside Sidewinder. You have 2 roller coasters that loop, that go forward and back. It's a little redundant in my head, but it's solid. I had a good ride on it. I'd put it above Mind Eraser. I wouldn't put it above Sidewinder, but it's decent. And for a Boomerang, it's good. No Twister 3 today. Also, the Intamin half pipe, that isn't open today either. But Twister 3 was sort of the ride I was most interested by at this park because Sidewinder, Mind Eraser, and the Boomerang are all kind of off-the-shelf roller coaster models. They're rides that have been cloned around the world. So even for a lot of visitors here, those might be unique experiences. Twister 3, for me, would be the unique experience. Now this ride is Twister 3 because at the previous Elitch Gardens location, there was a completely separate wooden coaster by the name of Mr. Twister. When Elitch Gardens moved from the Northwest to downtown Denver, they didn't take Mr. Twister along for the ride. So Elitch built Twister 2 in 1995. It was built by Philadelphia Toboggan Coasters, or PTC. I've been on a ton of wooden coasters that use PTC trains. They have a very specific boxy look to them. If you've ridden more than one wooden coaster, you've probably been on a PTC train at one point. But PTC built this roller coaster. It was designed by John Pierce. And the interesting thing is, the ride used to operate with 5 cars on its train, each with 2 rows. And then at some point, they switched it to 4 cars that had 3 rows each. So that change actually improved the capacity of the ride from 20 riders per train to 24. But then for whatever reason in 2018 or 2019, they took it down to 3 cars. So that takes the riders per train down to 18, lower than it's ever been. And whenever I've seen videos or photos of the ride running 3 cars on its trains, it looks kind of goofy. You're not used to seeing a wooden coaster with that short of a train. Then I believe in 2023 is when they gave it the Twister 3 rename, retheme. They added a lot to the queues. I don't really know what else changed. But the ride is closed because they're doing a substantial amount of retracking, which is interesting because at the beginning of the video, I was saying the rumors of how Elitch might be looking at other locations. So why do a ton of retracking if this coaster might not be a thing too long in the future? I don't know. I think this is missing in the lineup that I experienced today. This would add a lot of variety. This would also be by far the longest roller coaster that I would experience at the park. So a little bummed that I'm missing it, but at the same time, I've heard it's not a terribly intense ride. I've heard it can be rough, so hopefully that, at the very least, is being remedied with this track work. But that's Twister 3. Maybe one day I'll be back to experience it. Who knows? And just like that, that is going to do it for my day here at Denver's Elitch Gardens. Full transparency, I think the park is decent. I don't think it's incredible, but I do not think that it's like the worst park in the US, like a lot of people say that it is. Honestly, there are a few areas that do really look nice. This entry plaza is one of them. Again, that sort of Main Street area. Even like the food court further back in the park, just out of nowhere, like this super cool Western sort of vibe, and some of the surrounding area there was like a bar and a restaurant too that kind of matched that feel. Even once you're out of this street, it kind of opens up to this nice reveal of the Ferris wheel. You have the wave swinger. By the way, the wave swinger is one of the only Vekoma wave swingers out there, I believe. But that plaza, there's water. It actually does look really nice in that area too. But the area with most of the roller coasters kind of in the back of the park, that's where you have Twister 3, the half pipe, the Larson loop, you have the Boomerang, you have the drop tower. Even Sidewinder kind of is at the edge of that section. That whole section is just your classic concrete ride that you get at a lot of Six Flags parks. And that makes sense because this was a Six Flags park, and it was a Six Flags park during a lot of those additions. It makes sense to me. I would love it if the park could kind of take this charm that you get in this area and this entryway into the rest of the park. I think that would really improve it. Bummed out that there was no Twister 3. I'm a little bummed out that there was no half pipe. I've been on a couple half pipes. I'm not too concerned. I do think it would definitely have the best launch in the park because I loved Sidewinder, don't get me wrong, but the launch itself doesn't have a lot of force. In fact, I'd say like Millennium Force's cable lift pulls you out of the station faster than that gets going. But it's not about the launch itself, it's what it does after. I do think the half pipe would give you a bit more of that punch, and it would also just help round out the lineup alongside Twister. But DT, thanks so much for joining me today at Elitch Gardens. What did you think?
No, thank you for having me. This was actually my first time going to Elitch, even though I live in Denver. But it was a decent experience. I enjoyed some of the rides, they had some good pretzels, I ain't gonna lie. But no, yeah, I think the rides were fun. I went on the drop tower twice. I can't get enough of that. The views was amazing. You got the mountains, you got the city. No, it was a good experience. I'm definitely gonna come back.
But thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, consider liking it. Helps out the channel a lot. If you want to see more roller coaster and amusement park content like this coming real soon, consider subscribing. My name's John.
And I'm DT.
You've been watching Mid-Course Discourse, and I'll see you next time.